Hi everybody, my name's Raj Sidhu. I'm a careers consultant here at the Professional Development Centre at Brunel University. I'm going to be talking you through a presentation all about planning your own presentation. Okay guys, so let's talk you through how you can plan your own presentation. We'll talk you through some key information about gathering information, thinking about your ideas, planning your information and dedicating it to the audience, and also give you some ideas on structure and how to practice. Let's start with how to identify your objective. It's important here to visualize what you would like the audience to walk away with. Remember, there is only a small percentage of information that people are going to retain after this presentation. It's down to you to focus on that relevant bit of information and to focus on the parts that you think are most important. An interesting way of doing this is to really think about your goal, what you would like the end goal to be, and to write this out in a short sentence to think about what you would like the audience to be fully informed about at the end of this presentation. If you can understand and research your audience and find out as much as possible about them, it puts you in a position where you're understanding the point of view of what they're going to be looking for. Therefore, your material will be more relevant and everything will be of benefit to them. You really want to be asking yourself, if I was them, what would I want to hear about this story? What would I want to hear about this topic? One of the key things that you should be doing is thinking about how you can gather all your ideas. Now, this isn't always going to come in any logical order. You're going to be thinking about the things that you really want to include. An interesting way that you might want to adopt of doing this is to put together some kind of idea map with the subject that you're trying to achieve, that ultimate goal in the middle, and then throwing all your ideas around it in no particular order, just to think about some of the topics that you might want to cover. When you have finished, then it's time to start linking these subjects up so you can have some kind of structure. You will often find when you're planning that you have more information than you need. This is where you go back to your objective to try and understand the needs and the expectations of the audience. If there's too much information, no one's going to be able to remember all of it. Think to yourself, if the audience goes away just remembering 3 or 4 things, what are the key information that you want them to remember? A lot of talks, I feel, fail because they're just basically throwing facts at the audience and they lack that delivery to keep them engaged. Once you've gathered your information, bearing in mind the audience's needs, you're going to be thinking about a structure. Think about a structure that's going to work for your objective and your audience. This isn't always a one-size-fits-all. It's going to be dependent on what you're doing. At the start, you want to kind of announce how you're going to tackle the material. So you're almost telling people what you're about to tell them. And then you highlight the key points as and when you reach them during the course of your presentation. The visual aids do need some planning, but remember they're there for the audience. You shouldn't really be planning your presentation around them. They're there to navigate them through the topic. And the purpose is really to help the audience. And it can actually give you a little bit of guidance as well. But ultimately, they're there for the audience. The all-important introduction has got to be focused, attention grabbing, and it's got to capture the audience immediately. Remember, a lot of people will stop listening if they feel this is not relevant to their needs. It's got to tell them why they've got to listen and what you're talking about and the scope of the entire presentation. As you're going through, you're going to mention key bits of info. Each slide should give them a little bit of information. Try and use short, sharp, snappy messages and reinforce the key points when you come to them. Transiting from one slide to another is useful because it just gives your presentation a nice flow. At the end, you've got to basically tell them what you've already told them. This should be short, definitive, and give them a nice bit of conclusion. Summarise the key points, and if appropriate, tell them what's going to happen next, i.e. if they have any questions. I always get asked, how should I rehearse? I think the best way to do it, stand up, be engaging, and practice the whole presentation out aloud. Rather than just thinking about what you're going to say it. Do it out aloud. Start at the beginning, and go all the way through to the end. Even if you stumble, go all the way through to the end. Time the talk and aim to finish with plenty of time to spare so that you're not putting yourself under pressure. listen to the recording and you know, of yourself. You can record yourself and then you listen to it. And then the best person to critique your work is often yourself, and that will give you a nice little overview. Remember, you can always bring your presentations, if they're for assessment centres, into the Professional Development Centre, and you can book appointments with us and we can go through the presentation as well as help you to critique your own work. Thank you very much for listening, guys. On screen you'll see all of the links to our social media information. You can also see a link on how you can book an appointment with your dedicated careers consultant here at the Professional Development Centre.